It is freezing cold. I'm not too far from the Himalayas. And I just recently discovered, so I am grateful. I had no idea that this was a microphone attached to the earbuds. Not that I ever really needed it before. But, excuse me. I'm trying to be quiet because I'm in a little bunk area on a bus. Sorry, I never record facing myself, so I don't know where to look. That there is the horn, and it goes throughout the night too. And at first I thought how lovely it would be to be rocked to sleep on a bus for about US $9 and ride for, I guess it was going to be about 14 hours, but it looks like it's about 18 hours until I realized that it's like riding through the worst streets of New Orleans as fast as they can. So you don't want to really eat because you feel like you can throw up. So anyway, it just brings me to the concept of expectation. So in the middle of the night, my feet were freezing and the wind was blowing in through the window because I have a broken window, and I'm in the bunk that is shaped like a pizza box when all the others are shaped like regular rectangles. The body. I was thinking I did not book this seat, and then I quickly realized that that's how it's been. So my white privilege in India usually gets me this shitty seat. Usually gets me the broken seat or the pizza box with broken window, which I chuckle, and I haven't. That's an expectation that I have, and abroad, not because I'm white, but because I am from another country and I am capable of and privileged to be able to get a passport and a visa and a flight and travel. So it makes me think of a conversation I had not too long ago with my brother Prashant, who grew up in a very, very small village of farmers, and I'm not sure how familiar everybody is with the plight of the farmers in India. They have the highest suicide rate. They self-immolate because of being impoverished through terrible loans and interest, and then also to compound that, the push for genetic engineering here. So almost like all of India that I could see on the west is just inundated with BT cotton, genetic engineered cotton. And most of us already know the situation that comes with that, the indebtedness that comes with that. So anyway, at one point he was working and earning 20 rupees a day. And the I don't know how to explain what it's like. And people come from overseas and they haggle. My first experience was 10 years ago when I came to study in India, and we got one day off a week, and we were taking a rickshaw to get something to eat once we all piled into a jeep and went an hour, into the village. And this woman who was going for a PhD in the States was haggling between the difference of like 40-some rupee and 50-some rupee, right? And I looked at her and I was like, you do know the exchange rate? Like, this is at home change that you throw in a bin. And so you can't haggle like the locals haggle. It's not over survival like it is. So anyway, maybe that's something to consider when you do go someplace that the value of the dollar is greater than whatever currency it is that you go. And I will digress there for a second because I need to pee. Okay, so coming back to the sense of expectation. I know what's going on in the States right now with Social Security, what's going on with Medicare, healthcare access, places being gentrified left and right, people not being able to afford the areas that they grew up in, and the huge disparity between earned income and cost of living. So when I talk to people about that in India, and also people who are traveling from abroad, from places like Sweden and Russia, most people end up, the culmination of our conversation, saying that they would never want to live in the States because of the cost of living. Where first, most people are looking at the income and then comparing that to what the currency exchange rate is and applying that to what it would pay for in our country. So they have a concept of most Americans as being rich. So that's quickly dispelled in a conversation, but what can't be dispelled is that in the U.S., children are not begging in the streets. You do not have elderly people who are cleaning their dishes after they climb out of a box and they've just cooked in the street, and they're cleaning their dishes in black water, in sewer water. That's the expectation of a toilet, that we do have access to a bathroom. So in terms of the expectations that we have, we shouldn't stop having those expectations, though we also shouldn't be so stuck in our own struggles, our own silos, because, for example, this just comes to mind, leaving a community organizing meeting for working class rights, walking across the street to go get something to eat at a little, Chinese stop with the bulletproof glass in the window, and knowing two people who were going to order seafood from there. I said, well, do you know the whole slave trade with the seafood industry, and how 1 in 3 times you get seafood, comes from the slave industry, and we're not talking about living outdoors or living on a hay cot in a shack. We're talking about living in dog cages and being tortured daily. And that if you're getting it from a place that is a stop like a Chinese fast food place, it's no longer 33.333%. It's nearly like 99.99%. So that's where you're getting your seafood. And I had even explained the sounds of the screams of these men who are caged in Indonesia. Thailand and Indonesia are 2 of the worst places in the world when it comes to the slave industry and seafood. And shoulders were shrugged, and it was like, well, I want what I want, And I'm not sitting in a place of judgment. It just comes to mind in terms of an example to give of the struggles that we're fighting for in the States, and then completely being dismissive of what we feed into this here global era of slavery, the largest. So something just to digest. So back to the concept of expectation. What makes us believe in the States that we should expect to live better than the people that live here, or most places, or that we deserve the cheapest product, even though when we purchase, we over-purchase the cheapest of products. I don't know. Maybe we can take a second and look up the women of Juárez, Juárez, Mexico, on the border of Texas. and our TV monitors, our computer screens, or our technology, our cell phones, our computers. The men in China who are collectively committing suicide off the Apple building, or one by one committing suicide in an attempt to collectively, but stopped by Apple. And the mining in Africa for our cell phones, the seafood industry. I don't know. We need to keep fighting the good fight, but we need to do so after we pop our bubble and collectively work together with each other in the States and look outside and stop focusing on one party. I'm sorry, not one party politic. Well, that is part of it, but I'm at a loss for words. For one single goal that benefits ourselves. Sorry, I'm tongue-tied at the moment. But anyway, I hope everybody's doing well there. And stay warm. It is freezing cold here.